The IRS is already warning taxpayers about the 2026 tax season. And if you wait until January, you may already be late. Subscribe to this channel now, because here we break down U.S. taxes in plain English, step by step, so you can stay ahead instead of reacting at the last minute. Every year, millions of taxpayers assume they'll deal with taxes later. And every year, the same problems repeat: missing forms, misunderstood rules, delayed refunds, and unexpected tax bills. That's exactly why the IRS has launched its Get Ready for the 2026 Tax Season campaign months in advance. What makes this year different is timing and complexity. The 2026 filing season covers the 2025 tax year, which is the first year affected by major changes introduced under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. These changes affect income reporting, deductions, credits, and withholding, and they are not minor adjustments. If you rely on last year's approach without understanding what changed, you risk filing an inaccurate return or missing benefits you're entitled to. The IRS is being unusually direct about this. Early preparation is no longer optional if you want a smooth filing experience. In this video, we're not speculating, and we're not chasing clickbait. Everything you're about to hear is based on official IRS guidance and confirmed tax rules. We'll walk through why the IRS wants you to start now, what documents you should already be organizing, how the 2026 filing timeline really works, and what mistakes you should avoid before filing season even opens. This channel exists for one purpose: helping taxpayers make informed decisions before problems happen. If you want clarity instead of confusion, you're in the right place. Let's get into what the IRS wants you to do right now. All right, let's talk taxes. I know. April 15th, 2026. It sounds like it's ages away, right? But believe it or not, the IRS is already telling us that the time to start thinking about your 2025 taxes is now. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack in this explainer. Why they're saying this, and what you can do about it. So here's our game plan for today. First up, we'll get into why the IRS is waving this flag so early. Then, we'll walk through the key dates you need to know, how to get all your documents organized, and this is a big one, the new tax rules. From there, we'll look at your withholding, and we'll finish up by covering the common mistakes you'll definitely want to avoid. Okay, so what's the big rush? Let's get right into it. You know, this isn't just about trying to avoid that last-minute panic. The IRS has a really good reason for launching their whole Get Ready campaign this far in advance. I mean, it really does, doesn't it? It's so easy to just say, I'll deal with that later. But the truth is, the foundation for a really smooth, stress-free tax season that gets built months ahead of time, not in the last few weeks. And this quote from the IRS pretty much says it all. Their whole message is about preventing problems before they even have a chance to start. Just think about it. If you need to track down a missing document in, say, October, that's a pretty small task. But trying to find that same document in early April, that's a huge headache, and it could be the very thing that holds up your refund. All right, so the very first step in getting ahead is knowing your deadlines. Let's pull up the calendar and see how the whole season actually plays out. Now take a look at the flow here. The season doesn't officially kick off until late January, but the date you really want to circle on your calendar is January 31st. That's the deadline for your employer to get your W-2, and for most 1099s to be sent out. But keep your eyes peeled in February too. Sometimes corrected forms or things like a 1099-K can show up a little later. Just knowing this timeline helps you keep track of what you're expecting and when. Okay, with that calendar in mind, let's talk about the single best thing you can do for yourself right now. Just getting your stuff organized. Honestly, this is where you really take back control of the whole process. This is so simple, but it is incredibly effective. Step 1. Right now, today, make a few digital folders. Just call one income, another deductions, and maybe one for receipts. Step 2. After January 31st rolls around, you can use those folders as a checklist. Did my W-2 come in? Check. Got that 1099 check. And step 3, this is crucial. Back it all up. This little system makes filing a breeze and keeps you ready for anything down the road. And hey, here's a great pro tip straight from the source. Before things get crazy during filing season, head over to the IRS website and set up your online account. You can actually see all your past tax records and payment history. It gives you a massive head start and helps you flag any potential issues way ahead of time. All right, now for the big one. Here's a huge reason why getting ready early is absolutely essential this year. The rules have changed. We need to talk about some new legislation that could have a big impact on you. It's called the Tax Simplification Act of 2025. It passed back in the summer of 2025, and it directly affects the tax return you're going to file in 2026. One of the worst mistakes you can make is just assuming that the same rules from last year still apply. And this slide really shows you just how big these changes are. Look at this side by side. For a lot of eligible workers, and you'll have to check if this applies to your specific job, the federal income tax on tips and overtime pay is gone. Eliminated. This could completely change your tax situation and how much money you take home. It is so important to figure out if this applies to you. And that's not all. The Tax Simplification Act also brought in a bunch of new or expanded deductions, plus some special tax credits, especially for seniors. The key takeaway here is that you need to dig into these changes now to see what new benefits you might qualify for. You don't want to leave money on the table just because you waited until April to look. So, speaking of big changes to your tax bill, this is the perfect time to bring up withholding. This is basically how you manage whether you're paying enough tax or maybe too much out of each paycheck during the year. Yeah, getting this right is a real balancing act. If you underwithhold, you could get hit with a nasty surprise tax bill on April 15th. But on the flip side, if you overwithhold, you're basically just giving the government an interest-free loan with your own money all year. The goal is to get that balance as close to zero as you can. So, how do you check it? It's actually pretty simple. First, just grab a recent payub and take a look. Second, go online and use the official tax withholding estimator on the IRS website. It's a fantastic tool. And third, if anything in your life has changed, or especially because of these new tax laws, you can give a new W-4 form to your employer to get things adjusted. Now that you've got a plan, let's make sure that plan is airtight. We're going to wrap things up by looking at the most common mistakes the IRS sees year after year, so you can just sidestep them completely. These 3 are really the big ones. Procrastination. Well, we've talked a lot about why that's a bad idea. Overlooking documents, especially those forms that might trickle in a bit later in February, and the most critical one this year, assuming things are the same, you just can't file your 2025 return with a 2024 mindset, not with the Tax Simplification Act in play. And you know, this final quote from the IRS just ties it all together perfectly. This whole thing isn't just about following rules. It's about making the entire process easier for you. Better accuracy means fewer mistakes. Fewer delays means you get your refund faster. It all adds up to a much less stressful, much smoother tax season. So the power to have a simple, stress-free tax season is completely in your hands. And it doesn't start next January. It starts right now. The only real question is, what are you going to do with that head start? As we've seen, the IRS message for the 2026 tax season is unusually clear. Preparation starts now, not in January. The biggest mistake taxpayers make is assuming that taxes are a once-a-year problem. In reality, tax outcomes are shaped months in advance by organization, withholding choices, and awareness of legal changes. The IRS is actively encouraging taxpayers to think differently, Not because it wants to make things harder, but because delays, errors, and corrections create problems for everyone involved. This filing season is especially important because it reflects a transition year. New rules under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act are changing how certain income is treated, how deductions apply, and how withholding should be evaluated. These aren't changes you want to discover while rushing to file. Taking action now means something very concrete: organizing records, reviewing income sources, checking withholding accuracy, and understanding how new laws affect your situation. These steps don't require filing anything today. They require awareness and preparation. Another critical point is digital access. Setting up or reviewing your IRS online account now gives you control over your tax information before peak season traffic, when systems are slower and assistance is harder to get. If there's one takeaway from this video, it's this: waiting does not make taxes simpler. Preparation does. The IRS has made that clear, and ignoring the message usually leads to stress, delays, or avoidable costs. If this breakdown helped you understand what the IRS is really saying about the 2026 tax season, support the channel by subscribing and sharing this video with anyone who files U.S. taxes. We'll continue to monitor official IRS updates and explain what actually matters, without noise, without exaggeration, and without speculation. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next update.
Hello there. Are you currently navigating the complexities of retirement, or perhaps rapidly approaching that significant life milestone? The Retiree's Handbook is your dedicated YouTube guide for all retirement and pension news right here in the United States. It's crucial to stay informed about your financial future. We cover understanding pension benefits and maximizing your Social Security, ensuring you have the knowledge you need. Our channel provides actionable financial tips for retirees, helping you confidently make the most of your golden years. Don't miss vital information that impacts your peace of mind. Join our growing community today. Thank you for watching. Your financial security and retirement is incredibly important, and we're here to help you every step. Please subscribe to the Retiree's Handbook channel to never miss our latest updates and valuable insights. Join our community for continuous support, future pension news, and helpful resources to empower your retirement journey.